Ladies and gentlemen, when someone doesn't care about you, one of the most glaring signs is their indifference to your struggles. Life is full of challenges, and during those tough moments, you naturally turn to the people you trust, hoping for understanding and support. But these individuals, they won't even acknowledge your hardships. They'll brush off your pain, minimize your experiences, or worse, pretend like nothing is wrong. Have you ever confided in someone about something deeply personal only to be met with silence or a quick change of subject? That's indifference. These people lack the emotional investment required to truly care about what you're going through. When you're overwhelmed with stress or drowning in problems, they'll be the ones scrolling through their phone, nodding absent-mindedly, or steering the conversation back to their own issues. They don't want to hear about your bad day or your sleepless nights. Why? Because it doesn't affect them directly. Their indifference doesn't just show up in words or the lack of them, but also in their actions or the complete absence of them. Think about those moments when you needed help, a listening ear, a small favor, or even just someone to sit with you in silence and they were nowhere to be found. When you needed a shoulder to lean on, they suddenly became too busy, too tired, or too distracted. Their priorities never seem to include you, no matter how much you've done for them in the past. Even worse, they may trivialize your emotions. When you try to open up, they might respond with phrases like, "It's not that bad, you'll be fine," or "Everyone goes through stuff." While these words might sound harmless, they dismiss the depth of what you're feeling. It's as if your pain doesn't deserve attention or empathy. Over time, this can make you feel like your struggles are insignificant or that you're being dramatic for even bringing them up. Indifference is also marked by a lack of follow up. A person who truly cares will check in on you. They'll ask how you're doing, even after the storm has passed, because they know healing takes time. But someone indifferent, they'll forget the moment you stop talking about it. Your pain is out of sight and out of mind. This indifference can leave you feeling unseen and unheard, as if your challenges don't matter. And let's be honest, one of the worst feelings in the world is going through something difficult and realizing the people you thought you could count on don't even notice, or worse, don't care. Inconsistent actions are one of the most frustrating and telling behaviors of people who don't truly care about you. These individuals often speak in ways that make you believe they're dependable, supportive, and trustworthy. They'll make promises, offer reassurances, and say all the right things to win your confidence. But when it comes time to act, their behavior tells a completely different story. Words and actions should align, yet with these people, there's always a gap, sometimes a chasm between what they say and what they actually do. Think about how it feels to hear someone say, "I'll always be there for you," only to realize later that when you needed them most, they were absent. It's not just the absence itself that hurts, it's the broken promise. The repeated letdowns. You begin to question whether their words were ever genuine or if they were simply saying what they thought you wanted to hear. Inconsistent actions create a painful cycle of hope and disappointment, leaving you wondering why you ever trusted them in the first place. These people often make grand gestures or declarations to gain your trust, but their follow through is weak at best and non existent at worst. For example, they might promise to support you during a critical moment in your life, a job interview, a personal crisis, or a big project, but when the time comes, they're suddenly too busy, forgetful, or dismissive. They may even make excuses that sound reasonable at first, but over time, their patterns of unreliability become impossible to ignore. Inconsistency is not just about what they fail to do, it's also about the confusion it creates. One day they might act like they care deeply about you, showing up with attention and kindness. The next day they're distant, aloof, or completely disengaged. This push and pull dynamic can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing where you truly stand with them. It's exhausting to constantly second guess their intentions, trying to reconcile their words with their unpredictable behavior. What makes inconsistent actions particularly damaging is the erosion of trust they cause. Trust isn't built overnight, it's earned through steady, reliable actions over time. When someone's behavior is inconsistent, that foundation begins to crack. Every unkept promise and every moment of unreliability chips away at your ability to believe in them. Eventually, you may find yourself doubting everything they say, even when they might genuinely mean it. And let's not forget the emotional toll this takes. People who are inconsistent often leave you feeling confused, frustrated, and even questioning your own worth. You might start to wonder if you're expecting too much or if you're somehow the problem. But let's be clear, asking for consistency is not asking for too much. It's the bare minimum in any relationship, whether it's with a friend, a partner, or even a colleague. Inconsistent actions are also a sign of a deeper lack of respect for your time and emotions. They don't care about the impact their unreliability has on you. They might even take advantage of your patience and forgiveness, assuming you'll always give them the benefit of the doubt. But their inconsistency sends a clear message: they're not invested in building a stable, meaningful connection with you. Instead, they leave you to deal with the fallout of their erratic behavior while they move on as if nothing happened. Self-centered behavior is one of the most obvious yet insidious signs that someone doesn't care about you. These individuals operate with one central priority: themselves. Everything they do, every interaction they have, is filtered through the lens of how it benefits or impacts them. They're not interested in your feelings, your needs, or your well-being unless those things directly align with their own agenda. It's a constant one-sided dynamic where their desires come first and you're left feeling like an afterthought. Have you ever noticed how some people have a way of making every conversation about them? You could be sharing something deeply personal, a triumph, a struggle, a dream, and somehow they'll manage to shift the spotlight back onto themselves. If you're excited about an achievement, they'll either downplay it or try to one-up you by talking about something they did. If you're going through a hard time, they'll quickly pivot to their own problems, effectively silencing your voice. It's as if they don't have the capacity or the willingness to genuinely listen to and empathize with someone else. Self-centered people rarely, if ever, go out of their way for you. When you need help or support, they might offer it if it's convenient for them, but don't expect them to make sacrifices or adjustments. They're the ones who will cancel plans last minute because something better came up. They'll ignore your needs, even when you've clearly communicated them, because meeting those needs doesn't benefit them in any way. Over time, this behavior sends a clear message: your importance in their life is conditional and secondary to their own priorities. This kind of behavior also manifests in their inability or unwillingness to celebrate your successes. Instead of being happy for you, they'll either diminish your accomplishments or make them about themselves. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm so proud of you," they might say, "That's great, but I could never do that because I'm just so busy with my own stuff." It's subtle, but it reveals a complete lack of genuine care for your happiness. They can't even let you have your moment because they're too focused on how it makes them feel or how it compares to their own life. Even when they do something seemingly kind or thoughtful, there's often a catch. Maybe they help you with something, but then they expect you to go above and beyond to return the favor. Or perhaps they give you a compliment, but only to set the stage for you to compliment them back. Their gestures are rarely selfless, they're calculated moves designed to ensure they get something in return, whether it's validation, attention, or a favor. Their self-centeredness also becomes glaringly obvious during conflicts or disagreements. Instead of trying to understand your perspective, they'll dominate the conversation, focusing solely on how they feel, what they want, and why they're right. They might dismiss your concerns altogether or turn the situation around to make themselves the victim. Accountability is foreign to them because admitting fault or addressing your needs would require them to shift their focus away from themselves, even momentarily. Over time, this constant self-absorption can be incredibly draining. Relationships at their core are about give and take, about mutual care and understanding. But with self-centered individuals, the scales are always tipped in their favor. You give, they take, you accommodate, they demand. And when you finally start to set boundaries or push back, they'll often accuse you of being selfish or ungrateful, completely oblivious to the irony of their words. Self-centered behavior doesn't just show a lack of care, it reveals a lack of respect. These individuals don't value your time, your emotions, or your contributions unless those things serve them. They'll expect you to be there for them at a moment's notice, but won't extend the same courtesy in return. And if you ever dare to call them out on their behavior, they'll either deflect, make excuses, or accuse you of overreacting. When someone doesn't truly care about you, one of the most hurtful behaviors they can exhibit is the dismissiveness of your dreams. Dreams are deeply personal. They represent the hopes, aspirations, and ambitions that fuel our inner drive and define who we are. They are the seeds of our future, the plans we nurture, and the visions that motivate us to push through adversity. But to people who don't genuinely care, these dreams are often met with indifference, or worse, with condescension. The dismissiveness of your dreams is subtle, but it leaves a lasting impact. It's the way they undermine your goals, belittle your ideas, or make you feel small for having aspirations. It's in the way they speak to you when you share your ambitions, as though they are somehow less important, less realistic, or less worthy of pursuit. They might laugh it off, make sarcastic comments, or question your capabilities in ways that cut deeper than they realize. Rather than encouraging or supporting you, they choose to ignore or invalidate the passion behind your dreams. This behavior often reveals itself in the form of criticism disguised as advice. It's the friend who tells you that your dreams are too big or too unrealistic. They'll downplay your efforts, telling you to be more practical or to lower your expectations. Instead of helping you refine your ideas or pushing you to reach higher, they want you to stay within the confines of what they think is safe and achievable, even if that means you'll never truly grow. They'll tell you that you're being naive or unrealistic, as if to suggest that your vision for your future is somehow unworthy of pursuit. For some, dismissiveness takes the form of apathy. When you share your dreams, they may offer a quick, uninterested response, or worse, change the topic entirely. Your excitement for your goals might be met with silence, a shrug, or a vague comment like, oh, that's nice, followed by an immediate focus on their own life or interests. It's as though your dreams don't even warrant a genuine conversation or acknowledgement. They'll pretend to care, but the lack of engagement is deafening, and it's a painful reminder that they don't consider your aspirations important enough to invest in. Another way this dismissiveness manifests is through comparison. These people may be quick to compare your dreams to their own experiences, often in ways that minimize your own journey. Perhaps they'll tell you how they once had similar goals, only to give up because they think you're better off not pursuing it. Or they'll tell you stories of others who failed in their endeavors, subtly suggesting that you're more likely to fail than succeed. This type of behavior isn't rooted in genuine concern. It's an attempt to deflate your enthusiasm and keep you stuck in the same place they are, where dreams are no longer worth chasing. The worst part of dismissiveness is that it often comes from people you trust, friends, family members, or even colleagues. These are the people you look to for encouragement and support, yet, when it's time to truly believe in you, they don't. Their lack of belief in your dreams forces you to question yourself. You begin to wonder if your goals really are impossible or if you're simply fooling yourself. The damage this can do to your self confidence is profound. You might even start to second guess the very things that once excited you, giving in to the voices that tell you to settle, to compromise, to lower your expectations. The dismissiveness of your dreams doesn't just stop at words or actions, it often extends to their lack of effort to help you achieve those dreams. They won't lend a hand, offer resources, or even cheer you on from the sidelines. Instead, they sit back and wait for you to fail, as though they secretly relish in your struggles or see your success as a reflection of their own shortcomings. They might even distance themselves when you start making progress because they can't bear to see you grow beyond them. The last thing they want is for you to achieve something they once told you was impossible. This behavior is especially toxic when it comes from people who are supposed to have your back. In relationships, there should be a sense of mutual encouragement, where both individuals inspire each other to reach higher, to go further, and to dream bigger. But if you're met with dismissiveness instead of support, it can feel isolating and defeating. You start to wonder if you're in the wrong for wanting more. It's easy to feel like your dreams aren't valid or that you're asking for too much, but the truth is, your dreams are yours for a reason. They represent your potential, your growth, and your purpose. People who dismiss your dreams are not your allies. They might not intentionally set out to hurt you, but their lack of belief in your potential creates a rift in the relationship. You deserve people in your life who see your dreams for what they are: powerful, transformative, and worth fighting for. The right people will help you nourish those dreams, encourage you through the setbacks, and celebrate with you when you make progress. Dismissive people? They're not worth your time. In conclusion, recognizing the behaviors of people who don't truly care about you is crucial for protecting your peace and emotional well being. From indifference to your struggles to the inconsistency of their actions, from self centeredness to dismissing your dreams, these are signs that should not be ignored. They are reminders that not everyone in your life is meant to stay. While it's painful to face these realities, it's essential to remember that your worth is not tied to the approval or presence of others who fail to support or uplift you. Surround yourself with people who value you, who celebrate your dreams, and who stand by you during the hard times. You deserve relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, understanding, and love. As you move forward, remember that protecting your heart is not an act of cruelty, but a necessary step toward creating the life and relationships you truly deserve.